Well, one of the benefits of knowing you is that you have some friends in Scotland that will be glad to meet up with us and take us to different places. Once our tour is over and we have some free time on our own, they'll come and meet us.
Yeah, they'll look out for you.
And I think now's a good time to talk about a good friend of yours who is no longer here, but it's a good way to introduce the Scottish flag, which is it's a little bit different than the Union Jack that most people are familiar with.
Yeah.
Why don't you describe the Scottish flag for us and then share a little bit about your friend?
Well, the Scottish flag, the one that my flag, it's a cross of St Andrews. It's a white cross against the blue. Now back in, I believe it was the 8th century, I wish my friend was, I wish he was alive and I wish he was here too, because he was a historian. Well, back in the 8th century there was a battle. Scots and Picts, these are the original Scots, Pictish people painted, that's all it means. They were supposedly covered in tattoos. They were having a battle against some, it may have been Angles or Anglo-Saxons. The night before the battle, they had prayed for a sign for a victory. So on the day of the battle, they looked to the sky and in the cloud formation there was St Andrew's cross. So they adopted the cross and as their national flag. St Andrew was crucified in Patria, Greece. Now he didn't want to be crucified like his master Jesus Christ, so he asked if he could have the cross put into an X shape, and this was the way he was crucified. So ever since then we have had the flag as our national flag.
And you have a little poem, I think you would call it, in memory both of your friend, which also has to do with the flag. Do you want to share that with us?
Yes, indeed. I stand before this flag, the white saltire of St Andrew in the blue summer sky. It represents the soil from which I sprang and to which I must one day return. It represents Scotland, as it was, as it is, as it always will be. And that's in memory of a good friend, Scottish patriot, David R. Ross, who died last year on the 2nd of January. He travelled the roads with us in the band.
Okay.
A lovely man, he was an author.
Well, that seems like a beautiful tribute to him. And also, I think a good representation that the Scottish people are very proud people.
Oh, yeah.
So even though they might be ruled by the English monarch, they're still very much their own country and their own people.
Have a rich culture.
Now, when we talk about things that we'll be seeing as we travel, as you know, we're going to start in Glasgow and then travel up to the Highlands and around the country. What are some things that you can tell us about your perception as a native of the route that we'll be taking?
As a native of Scotland, you can virtually throw a stone in any direction and you're going to hit something that's got historical significance. You know, it's such a small country. I think there's only maybe 5 million Scots in Scotland.
I think of Scotland almost about the size of West Virginia.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's small.
And very, very beautiful.
Very beautiful. Rugged.
But rugged. Yeah. You have in the northern part, it's very rugged with volcanic.
Yeah, well, Edinburgh, we have a castle, Edinburgh Castle. It supposedly stands on an extinct volcano called Old Reekie, which means Old Smoky.
Old Reekie?
Old Reekie.
Smoky?
Old Smoky, yeah.
Well, we will be seeing that castle in Edinburgh when we travel there.
Beautiful, beautiful city.
You know, one thing that people always ask me about when we travel is about money and food. So let's talk about money, and then we'll talk about food.
So money first. Best idea is just to change over at Glasgow Airport.
But the money there is what?
It's pounds, shillings.
Pounds and shillings.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with the English currency,
this is all
not euros?
No, it wasn't euros when I was
We're
last
still
year.
doing pounds and shillings. Okay. Yeah. And the best thing to do is change when we get to the airport.
Change at the airport, yeah.
At the airport, okay. All right.
Don't
So
have any waste bags showing that you've got money. Try not to look like a...
don't look like we have money. Okay, I think we can handle that one.
It's always a good thing.
All right. Now the next most important thing, of course, is food. It's I believe it's a little bit different. And if I were talking to you, what do you miss about the food of your homeland?
I miss food like black pudding.
Black pudding,
Yeah.
also known as blood pudding. So tell us a little bit about what black pudding is.
Well, when it's cooked, it's black. It looks black in colour. Now, I believe that it's maybe been oats and barley all mixed together.
Oats and barley mixed
Yeah.
together. What
With
makes it?
seasoning, maybe salt, pepper to give a little bit of spice. Different people have got their own recipes for it, which they guard jealously. But it's quite a savoury taste. If you like it, you'll love it. If you don't,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I think I could manage to try that. But, you know, the food we hear most about is the haggis.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about that, because I don't think I'll be able to eat that one. I mean, I will try.
How to describe haggis? It's an old dish, and we celebrate it in Burns Night. We dress a haggis and eat it. Again, I think it's oatmeal. Traditionally, it used to be held within the lining of a stomach, maybe a pig or a sheep.
Okay, let me just make sure everybody understands. So you have the lining of a sheep's stomach,
Yeah.
and in that you put,
Oats, you know.
well, oats is one
Ground
thing.
meat.
Ground meat.
Yeah.
But when I read up on this, it was the heart of the sheep,
Aye.
the liver,
The parts you don't eat traditionally.
the parts you wouldn't really want to think
Yeah.
about eating mostly, yeah? And then
Now it's a synthetic skin. We don't use the stomach lining anymore.
oh, you don't use the stomach?
No, it's synthetic.
Oh, synthetic
Yeah.
stomach.
Aye. If that makes it more palatable.
So, but when people would get it, it would be this thing that they have to slice open and then eat out of the
Yeah, you
stomach?
would put it with potatoes or turnip.
Oh, potatoes and
Yeah.
turnip? Oh, good. Okay.
The turnip's very sweet, it complements
Well,
it.
maybe they'll have a tiny one we can all try, and
You can buy it
then
in
we
most.
can say that we tried it.
We have fish and chip shops, fast food.
Fish and chips,
You
we
can
can
buy
do
haggis
that.
suppers. You get them with chips.
Highland
With
suppers?
Haggis.
Haggis suppers.
You
Oh,
get
okay.
them with, we call them chips, you guys call them fries.
Okay, with fish and chips. Well,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yep.
All right. What else do you miss? What other kind of food is there?
I miss the Asian cooking, Indian food.
Oh, Indian
Yeah,
food.
really,
You know,
really
and
that.
people don't think about Scotland as being, you wouldn't think Indian food, but I've heard a lot of people who've said Indian food is a predominant
Oh, yeah.
culture, and their spices and everything there. Okay. Okay. What about what I'm going to try to make here before we actually depart, and that is shepherd's pie?
Shepherd's pie, yeah.
Was that a pretty common?
It was common when I was growing up. Yeah, we would
Okay.
have it. We got a lot of potato-based meals.
And
Ground
the
beef.
Irish eat a lot of
Aye,
potato-based meals too,
Yep.
for obvious reasons. Okay, so tell us what a shepherd's pie is.
Well, if I was making shepherd's pie, it would be ground beef, potatoes.
Ground beef, potatoes. But
Carrots,
originally,
onion.
instead of ground beef, it was it mutton?
It may have been mutton, yeah.
Mutton, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sheep.
Yeah, mutton, that would have been...
Okay,
would have been
that
used.
would have been the because shepherd.
Yeah, I never thought about it, yeah.
Okay,
I'll just eat it.
I thought I would tell you. Okay, so ground beef, and then there's some vegetables in it.
Yeah, you have carrots, onion,
Carrot, onion, peas.
peas, yeah.
Peas, yeah. All right, and then
You
you.
mash potatoes and put it over the top.
Okay, so it's like in our words, like a casserole
And a casserole dish,
with
yeah.
with the meat on the bottom and then potatoes on top.
Mm-hmm.
And then is there a gravy with it? There's
You
like
have a gravy with it, yeah.
with the meat, mixed with the meat, and then you put the potatoes on top and shepherd's pie. In doing my research, I found that it's also called cottage pie if you use ground beef instead of mutton. So I think we're going to try both of those.
Yeah.